Welcome back to GBN News Tonight with me, your host, Martin Daubney. Now, it's no secret that great British boozers are suffering like never before, especially since the government's decision to hike business rates before being forced into a rescue package amidst a nationwide backlash. However, what is less known is how badly Britain's breweries are suffering. And one of them, one of the UK's most loved cask ales, the taste of Cornwall, a favourite tipple of mine, Daubney, of course brewed by the Sharps Brewery in Rock, is set to have its brewery closed in Cornwall, closed down by its American owners, the conglomerate based in Chicago, Molson Coors. You said the site was no longer financially sustainable. Now, new figures have revealed we are losing breweries at the fastest rate in over 50 years as businesses collapse under soaring tax regimes. I'm delighted to be joined now in the studio by Andrew Morgan, the drinks industry expert and the veteran, as well as my panel, of course, Alistair Heath and John McTurnan. Andrew, let's start with you. Vested interest. I love these beers deeply. I used to holiday in Cornwall, still do every year. Daubney is named after the sandbar, Daubney between Rock and Padstow. Sea Fury, one of my favourite drinks, named after one of the speedboats in the harbour there at Padstow. Beautiful beers become the victim, have they, of the corporate conglomeration?
I think it's a sad truth, but I mean, when you go to Cornwall, you want to drink Cornish beer, and you want to go to a brewery and have something that speaks of where it's brewed. And you know, the sad fact with beer is that it can be replicated. You can take it to a large, very, very profitable, far more efficient brewery and brew it at pennies in the pound compared to an old school brewery like the one at Sharps. But that doesn't mean it has to happen, right? Again, it's accountants ruling it rather than real people. I remember when Young's closed and the family said it was a decision of the head, not the heart. And I think that's, it's very true that I think we have a love affair. We have a romantic affection to beer. And it's something that's more than just the liquid in the glass. And I think, when this is a sad moment, I think, in 2011 when Molson took it over, they did invest in it. They took a brewery that needed investment and they did provide it, and it was a good news story. But it was the same year that Tetley's was closed by Carlsberg. So when we kind of look at this ebb and flow, it's inevitable that the accountants will get their claws into breweries and want to take money out, especially when the climate is so hard for breweries to make money, when they need to. So again, we look at 2011, it's a good news story. We're only 15 years later, and what's changed? And I think it's the overall climate, political climate, the economic climate. It's a sad day.
I think many of us have seen our favourite breweries sort of pass away. My home city, Nottingham, the Shipston's Brewery, that's gone. The Home Ales Brewery, that's gone. Kimberley Beers, that's gone. This isn't just a beer. It's a part of Cornish heritage. Cornish pasties are protected. How about protecting Cornish beers?
It's a strange thing. I mean, it's been brewed, I think it's been open secret, it's been brewed in Burton at the big Molson brewery for many years. And that was probably the first moment where people felt uncomfortable, because when you're buying a pint of Daubney, you've got the memory, if you've been to Rock and you've been to seen the estuary and been to Padstow, it takes you back. But then if someone said, actually, it's brewed in Burton, how are you going to feel? And I think this is, with Madry and other beers that portend to come from a certain place, but ultimately don't. Do consumers care? And I think, unless we do vote with our pints and actually say we're not prepared to do this, then what's going to stop them from doing it? Because if it tastes the same and it looks the same, it is the same. But again, the romance and all the stuff that we put into it is...
But does Young's taste the same?
Well, there's a sad story of that one. When they closed Young's, they got all the guys in to the tasting room who worked there and told them that the beer they'd been drinking for the last month had been brewed at the new brewery and not where they were. And grown men were crying because they believed the copper tanks and everything about that brewery made it, and that they didn't know.
And I think what's happening here is that romance is being defeated by economics. And the reason it's being defeated by economics is because people, unfortunately, tragically, can't afford the romance as much as they used to be able to. And people will be willing to pay a premium for all this kind of stuff. If the economies were booming, if the economy is growing by 4% a year, 3% a year, if real wages are going up by 3-4% a year, if we're all getting richer, there'd be a massive market for, artisanal products, local products, all that kind of stuff, as we've seen in recent years. But unfortunately, that's just not happening. Unemployment is going up, wages are stagnant, people are not getting richer. And I think the economics of that is now affecting the culture.
But the vast majority of the price on a pint now is tax.
Right. And then you have the entire tax situation, which is destroying pubs and destroying businesses in general. So you've got those two things, right? You've got the fact that people are not getting richer and they are penny pinching and they're having to find money elsewhere, which means that, ultimately you're going to buy the cheapest product. And secondly, the whole ecosystem is in crisis as a result of public policies, of high taxes, of regulation, all that sort of stuff.
Do you think there's more to it than that? I know you and I spoke about this before. Is there a puritanism amongst today's political class? They want us all to stop smoking. They want us all to be vegan. They want us all to stop drinking. They want life to be joyless and grey.
There is something in that, to be honest, and there is a sense that adults need to be prevented from choices. And it's like, well, we're adults, we should make a choice. And I think the puritanical streak of public health is very strong, and it's like I think it went too far for lots of young people I know when there was the announcement, you shouldn't be able to smoke in a pub garden. It's like, it's my cigarette, it's my beer, it's my pub garden, and also it's somebody else's, but a pub garden without smoking, and there's something about the boundaries of what you should and should let free people do. So,
but we talked about previously about pubs being protected, and ultimately because they're more than the bricks and mortar.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Why not extend it to breweries? I mean, we've got some amazing breweries that are part of our culture. And sure, we can sell them out to the tourists and they can go and visit Shepherd Neame, Britain's oldest brewery near me in Kent.
Yes, yeah.
But actually, surely we should be looking as a society and certainly as a government to protect them and support them and not allow breweries like Sharps.
Another job for DCMS.
Gentlemen, I'll raise a glass to that. Thank you very much, Andrew Morgan, John McTernan, Alistair Heath. It's been a fiery, beautiful show. Thank you very much indeed.